Hello there, thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and boy, legendary band leader, pianist, and composer Count Basie I'm showing you today with a fun, nicely stylized concert poster design from the 1960s. And what's fun is that I've got four versions to show you today. This one from 1963, another one from 63-64, one from 66, and one from 1969. And it's really fun to watch the subtle changes in this basic design as the decade progresses. So yeah, check out this grand piano design. Well, black and white piano motif, really nice against the colored background. Looks really fun, really nice. And then as you can see across the top it does say America's Incomparable Rhythmic Stylist in script letters there with Incomparable in the piano itself. Count Basie and his internationally famous orchestra in the same script also on the piano. And then it's interesting, you've got sort of like 3/4 of Basie's face looking on. Rather unusual to have his head cut off like that, but it's okay, it works. You see all the important parts of his face. And all this on a nice catchy light orange background, so this is really cool. Interestingly, below Mr. Basie there, you can see it does say Roulette Records, which was a label he had albums out on from the late 50s right up till about this year. And speaking of this year, boy, Basie charted 4 LPs this year on Billboard's album chart, but 2 were on Reprise and 2 were on Verve, interestingly. So, okay, then you've got in that white oval down there, as you can see, the most explosive force in jazz. So this is a tour blank. As I said, I've got 4 to show you, and so you've got up here, you might say, okay, no, so we know it's 63, the date's on there, the year's on there, what city's it from? Well, that's pretty hard to say. It says Cotillion Club, War Memorial Hall. My best educated guess with a lot of research would be Danville, Virginia, but not nailed down for sure. But at least the date is, huh? Look at that, it says 1963, right after the February 8th. So the next poster, it's interesting, the date here is handed to us, and here it's kept completely away from us on this poster because there's no days of the week listed, just the days, April 6th and 7th in the red venue information, but no days of the week, so we can't match it up on a calendar. The only clue we have down here is it does say MGM Verve Records under Mr. Basie's chin, but he had albums coming out on Verve from 1956 to the 70s. However, I'm sure you've noticed what's all that red crayon scribbling on here, huh? Well, it's nothing except the band's autographs. Probably done, the day of the show or at a rehearsal a couple of days ahead of time or something. So that pretty much hands us a nice answer as to which year this is from. Bill Hughes, on trombone by Mr. Basie's forehead, he had been away from the band for a long time and rejoined Count in 1963. And saxophonist Fred Wess in the lower right-hand corner, well, he had a 10-year run that ended with Mr. Basie in 1963. Another source says 64, but the best source I found said 63. So that, combined with the orange color of the previous 63 poster, pretty much pins it to 63. But then you have the question of where. That's a mystery too. It's crazy. The Starlight Ballroom, South Main Street, downtown Sheraton Hotel, those are all just too generic. It's a big country, and I definitely could not pin down the time. So 63, maybe 64 for this one. Boy, what a time that was for Basie, though. You think, big band leader, the 40s was his peak and everything, but in the 60s, my gosh, Basie did collaborations with Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Sammy Davis Jr., Tony Bennett, Quincy Jones. He even had 3 LPs in Billboard's top 20 of their album chart during those 2 years, by far his commercial peak of his entire career on record. And to top it all off, in 63 he won a Grammy for Best Performance by an Orchestra for Dancing. Poster printer on this one, the E.J. Warner Poster Printing Corporation. Okay, let's jump a couple of years ahead to 1966, and voila, look at this, a different color, isn't that nice? Now this is the same template, the same design, but it's done by the Murray Poster Printing Company out of New York, not E.J. Warner, and what they did was they moved the blank white venue information box down to the bottom. Isn't that interesting? And they did a couple of other things too. Of course, they changed the color to blue, as you can easily see. They dropped the longer headline, and now you have just Incomparable on the piano without the other 3 words, so that's a change. They changed the white oval down here to black, as you can see. They dropped any reference to record labels, and they sort of added this stylized crinkled border where it was just straight lines, but straight box before. So, you know, subtle changes, but, you know, that's okay. They are differences, and so they're worth noting so you can help date your posters when you come across a Basie later. Here you've got the Starrowtown Music Fair in West Springfield, Massachusetts on Sunday, August 21st. And the year was '66. Interestingly, this is very standard block printing for Murray and is very familiar with from, say, Bob Dylan concert posters of '65 and '66, which used this same kind of venue information typeset. And then finally, from '66, let's trip into the late '60s, 1969, you know, the psychedelic era with Hendrix and Joplin and everything. And ta-da! Take a look at this. What is this day glow, you know, what do you call this? Pink, orange, peach? I don't know, but look at that. Isn't that fun? Well, you got to remember, Basie played the Fillmore Auditorium during Bill Graham's peak in 1967, and here he is looking pretty hip and almost psychedelic, not quite, in 1969. Down there at the bottom, it does tell us Tuesday, April 8th of 1969, and as far as all the other little changes and stuff, the only difference from '66 on this is indeed the color. Oh, by the way, the venue, where is this located? Well, there's a Warren High School in several states, and so I don't know which one it is, and so we've got our final Basie mystery. Boy, America's incomparable rhythmic stylist, Count Basie, on 4 different cool '60s concert posters. Thanks a lot for coming by. We'll see you next time for something soon. Bye-bye.